Bad Bunny
My
was
Bad
awesome,
Bunny.
man.
My
How
Bad
you
Bunny.
doing, man? Because you put in work
I did.
yesterday, dog.
Yeah, just a bunch of hours on TV, and then watched the game with Suze and Cooper and brother-in-law and nephews, and then got back here so I could be sitting here chopping up Super Bowl 60 with you. Why not?
How's the back of your head? Because I know you said the sun was eating you up.
I appreciate that. I am face forward and happy today, and thrilled to be covered. So thank you for joining us on this program. The Seattle Seahawks, the best team in the National Football League, and they earned that moniker. They earned it with a team effort. Every phase of football is necessary to be a championship team, and they nailed it. You have to also have outstanding coaching. You also have to have outstanding grocery shopping.
That part.
And they nailed it. They nailed it. They got a team together that got better as the season went along and faced whatever adversity they faced and faced it down. And then beat down the opponent that they had placed in front of them every single step of the way, with the exception of the Rams, who they went ahead and just got through by being the better executing team at the end of the day. They got some breaks too along the way. You got to have those, to be straight up honest with you. They got some breaks, like New York City chiming in a Week 16 game saying that 2-point conversion that was an incomplete pass. Hold on a second. But you also have to have somebody smart enough like Zach Charbonnet to pick up a loose football and having no idea he just converted a 2-point play that the Seahawks utilized with their stellar quarterback, who will never, ever look you in the eye and say, I can't, which is why we follow sports. Somebody like Sam Darnold. Put it all together, and you had a 29-13 score that wasn't really even that close. I was there in that building. It felt over from jump. It really did. Because once again, that Seattle defense jumped all over the opponent in front of them. And they were all over that New England offensive line. They dominated the trenches. Kenneth Walker III dominated the running game. Their place kicker dominated the place kicking. And Mike McDonald dominated the coaching. He dominated this team the minute he took over, and he's an unassuming character who has this burning desire and fire, and he's got this totem pole in his locker and in his meeting room where he is placing one helmet on top of the other of every team that they have beaten, which is a chest-thumping way that he does not give off externally of coaching this team. And they respond. Honestly, last night, the Seahawks get the ball first. They march down the field. They got a little bit of a break. I don't know. Again, I'm in the stadium. I thought Cooper Kupp bobbled that ball a little bit, certainly when he went out of bounds, but they were on it. They got a little bit of a break there. They got right on the football, and they matriculated a little bit further, just enough to get the first 3 points on the board, and then say, Drake May, young'un, with whatever you got going on that left side of your offensive line, and then whatever you got going on that right side of your shoulder. See what you can do. And he couldn't do anything. I was sitting up in the stands behind the end zone that Seattle was first trying to score into. They were heading towards me to start the game, and Drake May was heading away from me in the first quarter. And it's one of those game tape views that coaches have from the end zone. I mean, I could see it all. The Seahawks could not do anything but blanket everybody. And thus, the Patriots could not do a damn thing. Drake May holding on the ball a little bit too long. Well, for good reason.
Yeah.
They couldn't get open.
Nope.
Those defenders were plastering. They were all over what New England was cooking up. And then that offensive line just couldn't hold up. There had to be times this week where Mike Vrabel knew it. Had to be times this week where he's just like, we got our hands full. I just hope we get this break, that break. and that Sam Darnold makes a mistake. You know, after the game, Mike Vrabel was talking about what happened in the middle of this game and what went wrong in this game. And what you're about to hear is a soliloquy of sorts for him, where the short answer is, what went wrong in this game? Everything.
We couldn't gain any rhythm, field position. We got to get into drives better offensively. Defensively, we've been really good against the run lately, and we weren't. And, again, we were just playing catch up. And we did a great job in the red zone, and we competed. But unfortunately, I think the turnovers, ultimately costed us. And I appreciate the way that the guys offensively battled and competed, but just not enough consistent, execution.
Everything. Field position. That's the special teams part of it.
Oh, man. They could have made a case that Dixon should have been MVP of the game.
Well, at some point, Jason Myers, we were wondering, could you even make a kicker the MVP of the Super Bowl? He was just making the kicks.
Yeah.
Because Seattle was doing just enough. And Michael Dixon, the punter.
Unreal.
That a couple times he kicked it straight down the middle to Marcus Jones, and any Jet fan will tell you that's a mistake. And there were times, though, when New England was potentially getting like, hey, we're still in this thing. We're just still one touchdown away from leading this game. Hey, it's only 9-0. We're one touchdown away from just getting back in this thing and flipping the entire script. And Dixon would cough and corner him. There was that one time, when it was 19-7 and Marcus Jones, for whatever reason, did not fair catch it, and he ran up the field, and then the ball got down inside the 2-yard line. And when I saw that, I thought to myself, this thing is a wrap again. May did matriculate the ball well enough, but then he threw the interception to Julian Love right over the middle. That's another unkind cut for a New York sports fan, former Giant, that the Seattle Seahawks just scooped up and said, thank you very much. We will make him part of a defense that is not only great, but potentially, at the end of the day, generationally great. I don't know if we have that defensive board at the ready, but I will just read these off for you. The Seattle defense last night, just to give more statistics to what Mike Vrabel basically just said, couldn't get any rhythm, couldn't get any we couldn't get any field position, we couldn't do anything. 6 sacks for the Seattle defense, 11 quarterback hits, 8 tackles for loss, 3 takeaways, 1 a pick 6. They scored, they got home, they created havoc. They got May off the spot. They got May on the ground. They got May potentially sped up. They got May potentially flustered. And dare I say it, seeing ghosts. That's what they did to New England in Super Bowl 60. Mike McDonald in victory talking about the process.
There's always some part of your team that you're trying to attack and improve on, but if you stick to the process and the process is right, then the results will get to where you want. But I think what you saw today is just the end point of a team that has been dedicated to become this team since we walked in the door in April. And it started with our offseason program. Then it went to training camp and how they handled the offseason, and we just did it week by week.
It's coach speak in a way, but it's also because we're all looking for, why did this happen? How did a team that wasn't really on many people's radars coming into the season do what they just did? And how can we copy it? How can we as a fan say, look at Seattle, we can do that? Or front offices around the league saying, how did that happen? We have a plan. We have a process. What have they got going on? And I don't know what the answer is, because if I did, RES Consulting would be in a lot of other businesses. Okay? But again, when you've got a general manager like John Schneider, who is now the first general manager in the history of this great Super Bowl era game First one to win 2 Super Bowls with a different head coach and a different quarterback in each of the Super Bowls. And because Howie Roseman's done that, and Ozzie Newsome's done that, win 2 different Super Bowls with a different coach and a different quarterback. Okay? And they both did it. But both of them had members of that second Super Bowl win of that team be part of the roster from the first. John Schneider's the first to do it with 2 completely different rosters. There's not a soul that was on that team in the 53 men in Super Bowl 60 that won Super Bowl 48. Not one. 2 different rosters. You got to have that guy have a plan connected to a coach like Mike McDonald, who can then send it out into a locker room and connect all of them together in a way that makes everyone believe and makes everyone execute and makes everyone look at the other man and hold them accountable and then maraud with every snap of the football with speed and intelligence and grit and determination. And I think I just described the 2025 Seattle Seahawks. You could say that about many champions, obviously, every single year. But this one is quarterbacked by a guy that I think can also personify what I've just said about belief and accountability and excellence in the face of where did this come from? And that's Sam Darnold. I cannot believe he is a Super Bowl champion. Now, again, that's my, perspective of growing up a Jet fan and having a T-shirt that says not the same darn old Jets. Putting belief in Broadway, Sam. Okay? Right? Having that guy go from the Jets to the Panthers and sit there and go, absolutely. Let's see what Zach Wilson's got. Because Sam ain't it. I didn't see anything. He's the guy that couldn't beat the Patriots. He's the guy that couldn't play clean football games. He's the guy that 100% the new head coach in Robert Saleh should not have to own whatever his deficiencies are. He should start something new. Send him to Carolina, where he wins 3 games and he's 3-0. And we were joking here on the Rich Eisen show, hey, it's MVP Sam Darnold.